Well, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Ah, man, are we starting with the Wi-Fi issues? Why we've been just fine. All right, here we go. Boom. We here. Good afternoon. Welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome in to my beautiful people, the community, our team. Welcome to the Purpose Life. As always, man, shout out to you. I appreciate you for just opening yourself up, opening your minds, your hearts, your time, this space, this allotment within your day for us to gather together and to work and grow, right? Because that's truly what community is. But I need you to understand this community is nothing if the people don't come, right? If the people don't come, then the community is nothing, right? So I say that to say, man, I appreciate you all for taking the time and locking in each and every Monday, whether it's my plate, my choice, or the Purpose Life. Like, thank you. All right, but listen, we we got some stuff to talk about today. Okay, like we really got some stuff we have to get into today, and I'm kind of gonna switch gears from our subject matter that we've been talking about as far as the combo meal. I've been enjoying that series, but we're gonna switch over probably for this week, next week, and the weeks to come. Honestly, because when I was studying and praying, God gave me a new direction. Something I feel like is really critical, and obviously God feels like it's critical for us to work on because He pressed it upon my heart. So if you ever pay attention to the subject or the title that we enter into the chat, we are talking about the requirement of faith. All right, the requirement of faith. Now let's talk about it from a different perspective here. Okay, all right. So my background is HR. All right, I'm HR. That's my background. All right, so do a lot of hiring, a lot of interviews, sometimes the occasional firing. Not a fan of that side of it, but that goes with it, right? It's a combo. But do you all know that when you and for all of my people in the working force, you know that once you interview for a new job, right? Once you interview for a new job, after they have decided that they're going to give you the job, right? Then they will give you what's called the job requirements, right? They will either tell you the job requirements or they will present you with a sheet, something of that matter, with the job requirements. So that now that we have decided to give you the job, we've decided to hire you for the job. Now we need to talk about the requirements, right? So let's say this job requires you to work 6 days a week, right? So they're going to talk to you about those things because before we ever even get into the next step, we need to know if you're available to handle the requirements of this job 6 days a week. Most people might be used to working 5 days. Can you do 6 days a week, right? The hours of this job may be 7 to 7. They may be 7 to 8, 7 to 9, or you may have a flex schedule. Your hours may change. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you may work one set schedule. Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, you may work another set schedule, right? They're going to give you the requirements and then they will see if you are able to meet the requirements of this job, correct? Okay, we're all good. Everybody on the same page with that, right? Boom. So, do you all know that our requirement as believers is to truly have faith in God? That is the biggest requirement that we have. And honestly, that is where our journey as a believer starts. Because when you give your life to Christ, right? You confess Jesus, you receive him as your Lord and Savior. Do you know that it's not like if I were to say, hey, I'm giving you this Bible. This is a very physical, tangible element that you can grab and now receive, right? You know that the Bible is now in your hands because you feel the weight of it. You feel the texture of it, right? So that's a very easy thing to now receive because you can touch it. When you receive God into your life, that's not a physical thing that you can touch, but the element of faith is the basis. It's the basis of our entire walk as believers, right? You got to think about this, all right? We are required by God to be people of faith. Say that with me. I am required by God to be a person of faith. Again, I am required by God to be a person of faith. Now, you might be like, well, George, help me with it. Don't worry. We're going to move and we're going to move pretty quick today, okay? All right, so look, let's get into Romans 12:2. You all know this is one of my favorite scriptures, and today it's going to serve as a foundational scripture for where we're going, okay? Romans 12:2. As always, you know I'm reading out of the NLT, but any translation that you read out of is just fine, all right? Romans 12:2. Don't copy the behavior and customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Then you will learn to know God's will for you, which is good and pleasing and perfect. Now, I want to back to one thing. Here's what I want us to look at. Don't copy the behavior and customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Yes, Priscilla, thank you. I appreciate that. By changing the way you think. He has to change the way you think. Emphasis on the word think. All right? Because God says, I got to flip that around. Because you've been thinking from a worldly perspective. You've been thinking from a natural perspective. And you may say, well, George, what other way is there to think? I'm glad you asked, because we're about to work together. Can we jump over to Proverbs 23:7? Keep in mind, Romans 12:2, what we're taking away from that is the word think. All right? We're taking away from that. Let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. That's what has to happen. My thinking has to shift. My thinking has to now become different, correct? We're there. All right. So we're jumping from Romans 12:2 to now Proverbs 23:7. Now I'm going to read this to you from the Amplified translation. And I'm giving you context you know that you should know to help you kind of draw a parallel to where we're going to go in a minute. Thank you, Elder Cunningham. I appreciate that. All right, listen. Proverbs 23:7. For as he thinks in his heart, so is he in behavior, one who manipulates. He says to you, eat and drink, yet his heart is not with you, but he is begrudging the cost. Okay, we're going to go back to the beginning. We're reading again Proverbs 23:7, the Amplified version. For as he thinks in his heart. Now here's the word think again. Do you understand right now? I told you we have a requirement by God. We are required to be people of faith. So now I must change the way I think in order to truly become a person of faith and truly see who God is. I've got to shift this. So the word says, for as he thinks in his heart. Let me say this to you. We have things that we believe for. We have things that we talk to God about. We have things that we pray for, that we confess over. But my question to you today is this. Can your mind truly handle what you are believing for God to do? See, it's one thing just to say it, right? And you know people say things all the time. You move into the new year and you say a bunch of things. You have all these New Year's resolutions. You say a bunch of things, but you know, and I know that you fully understand that your words mean nothing until you first change the way you think. I can keep saying these things. I can keep saying I'm going to spend more time with God. I can keep saying that I want to be more committed to church. I can keep saying that I'm going to do better with my nutrition and I'm going to eat better. I can keep saying all these things, but if I never change the way that I think, then I'm still going to remain in the same position. I've given you two scriptures. I appreciate that. Thank you guys. Listen, I've given you two scriptures that point to that already. So I'm asking you again, can my mind handle what I'm believing God to do? Which means, can I truly see it done, or is it just a part of my daily routine? See, it's making confessions just a part of my daily routine, right? Is prayer just a part of my daily routine? And I'm not truly believing, I haven't transformed how I think. So if I'm believing God to get me out of debt, if I'm believing that it's already done, if I'm believing that all my bills are paid and all my need is met, if I'm believing that, then no matter what I see, I believe that that's already done. That's not just something I say to be cute. That's something I stand on. That's something I declare, and I see myself debt free. If the doctor has given me a negative report, I see myself healed. I don't just say I'm healed because it's cute to say. I don't just sit in the doctor's office and say, I don't receive what you have said to me because by his stripes I'm healed, right? That's something to say. But have you transitioned the way you think so that now your mind has taken on that belief? Now I'm walking in a healed version of me. Yeah, you may not see the manifestation of it yet, but I'm walking in a healed version of me. Okay, I'm gonna give you an example of this, right? So y'all know I go to the gym every day, right? You know, right? So I see people in the gym all the time, and no knock on anybody, but they look the same that they looked when I met them a year or 2 years ago. And I can have conversations with them, right? And I have heard people in the gym say, man, I just enjoy coming to the gym. You don't, so you get up early in the morning and you come here and you work out and you do all these things, right? And you don't want the change to be evident of the work. You just want to keep coming to the gym. You're just okay looking like what you looked like a year ago. You're okay having to tell people, like, you think it's cool to tell people that you go to the gym. See, me, let me help you understand something. Like, I just told y'all that for an example, but I'm not walking around telling people that I go to the gym every day. Most people see me and they tell me that I go to the gym. They tell me that they can tell that I work out. They tell me, they see and they understand, oh yeah, you work out, huh? Yeah, you go to the gym every day, don't you? Right. Because you can see the fruits of my commitment and my dedication. You can see it. It's not just words, you can see the actions, right? Because I've shifted my thought process. So when my alarm goes off in the morning, I don't always want to get up, I promise you. But because I have shifted my thought process and because I am committed to it, I move. So I'm saying that we are required, our requirement is to be people of faith. So I'm asking you, has your mind changed to become a person of faith, or are they still just words? Are you a reflection of where your mind is? I'm going to tell you that you are. You're a reflection of where your mind is. You are truly a reflection of where your mind is. You're a reflection of how much faith you have for said thing, or you're a reflection of the fact that you don't have faith. See, you can speak positively and you can speak negatively at the same time. You can get before God and you can pray and you can believe for these things, and then you can get around your friends and you can talk yourself right out of what you prayed for in the morning because you haven't shifted your thinking. See, you care more about what people think and the fact that they may laugh when you declare outwardly what you have talked about privately. I'm okay. If I'm going to say I am healed, I'm going to say I am healed at all times. I will never let you put something else on me because I have shifted my thinking. So I'm healed regardless. I'm healed on the days I feel good. I'm healed on the days I feel bad. I'm healed on the days I'm struggling to walk. I'm healed on the days that I'm fighting the battle both mentally and physically. I am healed. I still declare it because the word says that I got to change the way I think. I can't still look at where I am currently. Okay, I got you. I got you. Let's do this. Can we look at 2 Corinthians 5:7? Can we look at 2 Corinthians 5:7? Mind you, I am giving you all, this is just the appetizer, setting the table for where we're going to go over the next month. I promise you. Like, I'm just giving you texts that you probably should know by heart. These are scriptures that you probably got tucked in your pocket, that you know them, but I'm asking, have they really shifted here? Okay, so here we go. 2 Corinthians 5:7 says, for we live by faith, not by what we see with our own eyes. Huh? So we live by faith, not by what we see with our own eyes. Now, what is I need you to understand, right? because we are now at a bit of a fork in the road. We are now at a bit of a place that there's a slight contradiction if you don't understand what's going on, right? Because if you read that, for we live by faith, not by what we see with our eyes, you might look at that and say, okay, make it make sense, right? Because God gave me two eyes to see every day. And everything that I do, I see with these eyes that are part of my five physical senses that God blessed me with. Okay. So, God, you gave me eyes to see, but in your word, you told me don't see, essentially. Right? If you don't understand, if you don't understand, this is why it's important for you to get in the word and break it apart and chew it up and digest it, because there's a true difference here. So that text says, for we live by faith, not by what we see with our eyes. Because you got to go back to where we started. You got to change the way you think. See, your eyes can only register things naturally. So see, my eyes can only see this gallon of water, right? My natural eyes register what I physically see, right? So your eyes only register naturally what you physically see. So if you are in debt, your eyes register naturally all the past due balances that you see. Your eyes register naturally your bank account being in a negative or being very close to the negative or too close or close to zero, excuse me, right? That's what your natural eyes register. Your natural eyes will go to the doctor for an appointment and register the doctor's report that you've now been given, a full breakdown on whatever they told you, whatever they discussed with you. Your natural eyes will break that down, right? From a natural standpoint, from a natural standpoint, from a natural standpoint, there are things that you see, but God is telling you, if you have been transformed, if you have been renewed in your mind, then you understand, boy, there is another dimension that I'm talking to. I ain't talking to this right here. I'm not just here, right? Okay, you don't believe me. I got you. Can we go to Second Kings 6:15 through 17? Can we go to Second Kings 6? Remember what we just read and hear me here. Second Kings 6, verses 15 through 17. So verse 15 says, when the servant of the man of God got up early the next morning and went outside, there were troops, horses, and chariots everywhere. Oh, sir, what will we do now? The young man cried to Elisha. Now, I want to help you understand something. The young man his mind had not been renewed because he could only see from a very natural standpoint. And from a very natural standpoint, he said, we are surrounded right now. We are surrounded. Like, what are we going to do? I would begin to say he probably feared for his life because he could only see from a very natural standpoint. He could only see naturally. So fear came up. That's why you got to keep reading. So that's verse 15. Verse 16. Don't be afraid, Elisha told him, for there are more on our side than on theirs. I need you to understand something right now before we even begin reading. If you pause where you are and listen, you got to understand there are more on your side than there are on the side of the devil, because we know that greater than he who is in us, then greater is he that is in us than he that is in the world. Greater is he that is in us, not as great, not equally as great, not the same. The word says that greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. So I always know, oh man, there are more with me than there are with them. So I don't have to be in fear. I don't have to operate in doubt. I don't have to operate in that space. But hold on, what comes with this? The requirement of faith. Because here's what happened next. Verse 17. Then Elisha prayed, oh Lord, open his eyes and let him see. Now pause. Help me understand something. His eyes were clearly already opened because he saw what was around them. He saw the chariots. He saw the horses. He saw the Aramean army. He saw them around him. So that tells me his eyes were already open. But what has to happen? The word, he had to change the way he thought. His mind had to shift. So when Elisha prayed, God opened his eyes. God transformed how he is thinking because he is only seeing naturally. And I need him to tap into the spiritual realm. I need him to operate under the requirement of faith. See, you have a requirement of faith. So listen. Then Elisha prayed, "Oh Lord, open his eyes and let him see." The Lord opened the young man's eyes, and when he looked up, he saw that the hillside around Elisha was filled with horses and chariots of fire. So when Elisha prayed, eyes now were opened, he was able to see by faith into another realm, which is the spirit realm. And I need you to understand, you have that same opportunity, the same ability to take that approach daily. When you face tribulations, when you face trials, when you face things in your life, you have the opportunity. Hey, I'm not walking by what my natural eyes see. I'm not just there. Oh, no, brother, no. I'm not just here because now my mind has been transformed, which means I now know that I have access to the spiritual realm by faith. This is why God said you got to renew your mind, because only when your mind is renewed do you now know what all is available to you. Okay. Can I ask you a question? What are your natural eyes robbing you of? No harm, no foul. Just a question. What are your natural eyes robbing you of? What do you mean when you say that, George? See, your natural eyes are robbing you of things that God has already done in the spirit realm. Go back to the translation. See, when the young man opened his physical eyes and saw that they were surrounded, his first response was to move in fear because he wasn't aware of what was around him supernaturally. I'm saying to you, if you don't take a survey, if you don't take a survey of what is around you supernaturally, you don't understand by faith what you have already unlocked. You don't be in fear by what's due. You're not in fear by what the devil tries to put on you, because he can't stop God. He's not greater than God. He can't hinder God. So I'm not worried. I expect him to come. I expect him to try to move against me. I expect that. I expect him to throw roadblocks and hurdles at me. I expect that. But what happens? My response to that is by way of the supernatural. My response to that is in faith. I ain't operating in fear. I'm operating in faith because my mind has been renewed. Okay, I'm going to give y'all. Can I give you two scriptures and we close? Two. Just give me two. Acts 4, 19 through 20. I got you. Just in case you're not ready yet. Acts 4, yeah. Acts 4, 19 through 20. Acts 4, 19 through 20. And I'm going to say this to you because here's what happens, right? Oftentimes when we read the text, we focus on the miracle. We get excited about the miracle. We shout and turn backflips and do all this for the miracle. But I told you this 2 weeks ago. We have to start taking a greater look and develop a deeper understanding for the faith that took place on the front end for the miracle to become the miracle. But that only happens when your mind is renewed and you start to move under the requirement of faith. Here you go. Why did I just tell you that? Acts 4, verses 19 through 20. Acts 4, verses 19 through 20. No. My bad. Hold on. That's not what I wanted. I didn't want Acts 4:19 through 20, did I? Oh, I mean, this will work too. All right. Okay, then I'm gonna back up. No. Okay, all right, my bad. That ain't what I want. Let's look at Second Kings. We'll come back because it's something in that, but it's not Acts 4:19 through 20. But it's in Acts. God, bring it back to me. But don't worry, I got you. Here we go. All right, let's go to Acts 3. My bad. Acts 3. Okay, here we go. In Acts 3, I'm gonna start with verse 2, right? Acts 3, verse 2. As they approached the temple, a man lame from birth was being carried in. Each day he was put beside the temple gate, the one called the Beautiful Gate, so he could beg from the people going into the gate. When he saw Peter and John about to enter, he asked them for some money. Notice what he asked them for. He asked them for money. Why? Because at the time, his mind was in one place. Now, this is an example of how quickly you can shift. You don't have to think that it takes you a long time to shift to get understanding into the requirement of faith, to get understanding in what God has already made privy to you. It ain't no long process. I'm gonna help you, right? So when he saw Peter and John about to enter, he asked them for some money. Peter and John looked at him intently, and Peter said, "Look at us." The lame man looked at them eagerly, expecting some money. His mind was still in the wrong place. He was only focused on something that was going to give him a what? Temporary satisfaction. See, money that probably, if he was a layman, I would imagine he probably drinks often. If I couldn't walk, I think that would probably be my course of action. Like if you got a real illness like that, you really lean on another crutch. So I would imagine that's why he's looking for money. Like he wanted something that just takes him away from. That's just me and my spiritual imagination, right? So he's eager. He's looking at them eagerly, expecting money. But Peter said, "I don't have any silver or gold for you, but I'll give you what I have." Because I got something more valuable than silver. I got something more valuable than gold. I got something more valuable than currency. Let me help you people. What you possess in you is more valuable than a bank account because faith gives you access to all things. Faith gives you access to the spirit realm and allows you to now see what God has already done. It's more valuable. But I'll give you what I have. In the name of Jesus Christ the Nazarene, get up and walk. Then Peter took the lame man by the right hand and helped him up. As he did, the man's feet and ankles were instantly healed and strengthened, and he jumped up and stood to his feet and began to walk. Then walking, leaping, and praising God, he now went into the temple with them. I need you to understand. See, now his mind had shifted. He wasn't focused on money no more. He said, "Boy, I want more of what you got on you, because you said you would give me what you have. So if I follow you, that means I now get access to what you have. That's what I want. I want what you have. I want faith in God. I want faith that conquers all things. I want faith that says I am always victorious. No matter the situation, I am victorious. I want that, which is why he followed them. Who are you following today? Okay. Can I give y'all one more scripture? And I'm done. 2 Kings 4, 39 through 41. 2 Kings 4, 39 through 41. Yeah. We're going to close with this one. All right. Remember I said, oftentimes we focus on the miracle, but not the faith that had to take place in order for the miracle to become the miracle. Okay. 2 Kings 4, 39. One of the young men went out into the field to gather herbs and came back with a pocket full of gourds. He shredded them and put them in the pot without realizing they were poisonous. Some of the stew was served to the men, but after they had eaten a bite or two, they cried out, "Men of God, there is poison in this stew," so they would not eat it. Elisha said, "Bring me some flour." Because let me tell you something. When I read the Bible, sometimes it literally takes me to a place of laughter in how God says, "I will use whatever I want to get my will done. I will use whatever I want to show you that I'm God. I will use whatever I want to show you that I'm not bound by your worldly standards." That's why we started with Romans 12:2. And that's why we then went to Proverbs 23:7, because it's how you think in your heart. See, if you think by faith in your heart, then now you start to see differently, right? So, listen. So Elisha said, "Yo, bring me some flour." Flour, the most basic substance that there is. And he threw the flour in the so he threw the flour into the pot and said, "Now it's all right. Go ahead and eat it." And then it did not harm them. Can I ask y'all a question? If you're sitting at that table around that fire and you see a couple men eat right next to you, right? And they say, "Hey, it's poison in there," and they put their bowl of porridge down. They say, "Hey, we good on that. It's some poison in there." And you see somebody throw flour on it and say, "It's good now. Go ahead and eat it." Who finna be the finna? Who finna be the first one to try that? Who? They just said it was poisonous. Who is finna be the first one to try it after he done sprinkled some flour on there to say, "Yes, it's not poisonous anymore"? Who? I'm gonna tell you who. Somebody who understands the requirement of faith. Somebody who understands that I have faith in God, and if God said this is done, then it's done. I'm not stressing about it. I'm not crying about it. I'm not worrying about it. I will shed no tears about the situation. I will worship in the situation, but I will shed no tears in the situation because I operate in faith. I shed no tears. I'm fine. I'm fine. I said it yesterday when I was opening up service. Um, the three Hebrew boys, Shadrach, when you think about it, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, like as they were led into the fire, nothing about the word tells me that they were in fear. They were nervous. They were begging. They were pleading. They were fighting. "Don't take us in here." Don't, man, they walked in there boldly because they understood something. Their mind was renewed. My God is with me. I ain't worried about this. And I'm telling you right now, if you would approach life with an understanding that your God is with you, you operate in faith, and you say, "I've already been given the victory over these finances. I've already been given the victory over these emotional battles. I've already been given the victory over the lack of advancement at work. I've already been given the victory over all things. I've already been given the victory. I operate in faith. I only see it in faith. I don't see it in the natural. I'm not wasting no more time." Listen, I went to the optometrist like 2 weeks ago, and when I sat in there, she dilated my eyes, of course, and so they left. She left, and like, after they dilated, they let the dye kind of set into your eyes, right? And I think this is on the backside. Once they were finishing, they were trying to, let me get to a place where I probably could drive or whatever. And so I'm looking at, and I don't know the machine, right? I don't know the name of the machine that they put you in, where they're making all the adjustments, right? But I took a picture of it. It's in my phone. And the reason I took a picture of it was because as I looked at it, I said, this machine is truly the definition of what faith is. See, this machine has a bunch of gadgets and shifty knobs that you now fine tune, until your vision becomes 2020 or as close to 2020 as you can get it. You keep playing with it. What I'm trying to help you understand is every day your job is to keep fine tuning your vision until you get to a place of 2020 faith. For now I see things as God said that they are. I don't see the world as it is. I see things as God says it is. So when God says something, I stand on that. Oh, I'm not ready yet. Let me keep fine tuning. Let me keep adjusting because my faith is not reached a place where it can now see it. I'm going to tell you, I'm living like real talk. I had a pain in my shoulder from playing pickleball. Like it's like it'll wake me up at night. And every time I feel it, I just declare God's word over it. Every time I feel it, I stop what I'm doing. I say, you are healed. There is no pain in this shoulder. There is no issues in this shoulder. There are no injuries in this shoulder. You are healed. God did not create me to suffer. I need this to function. I need this to carry out my purpose. I need this to be who God called me to be. There is no pain here. I'm waking up every night confessing over that. I'm going through my day. I'm driving uncomfortable, confessing over it. You know you heal, right? You know you heal, right? You got no choice because I'm walking in faith. And let me tell y'all something. We good over here. We good over here. I ain't waking up out my sleep no more. But you have to be very intentional. And you have to have the renewed mind. Hey, listen, I'm way over my time. I'm 36 minutes. Y'all know I try to be under 30 minutes. So listen, I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for tuning in and locking in today. I hope you all have an amazing week. Please allow this message to serve as a foundation for you to now catapult yourself into a new height, to catapult yourself into a new level of faith, to catapult yourself into a new level of understanding of your faith. All right, man, I love y'all. You all be blessed and have an amazing week.